TVA Internal Comms. Subject line, 2026 Television and Video Games. Agents, Nakware and Jonathan. Gentlemen, you may have cast your predictions on the impending films of 2026, but don't think your job is done. On the contrary, we need your predictions for the television shows and video games of 2026 as well. What games and shows deserve a spot on the sacred timeline? And which ones will be relegated to obscurity? Chop chop, gentlemen.
Welcome to the Entertainment Variance Authority. That is Jonathan McNamara, your keeper of the lore and the best beard this side of Texas.
Hello.
I am Nakware Howard, your favorite person's favorite person, aka the Take Master General, aka Mr. Never At Me. You have entered our arena where we tell you what content deserves a spot on the sacred timeline and what we're pruning out of existence. That's right, folks. We are judge, jury, and the keepers of the timeline. Today, we will be giving you our preview of TV and video games coming out in 2026. So let's get into it. Let's crack open the case file. You want to start with TV shows or video games?
Hey, you know what? Let's start with TV shows.
All right.
I'll take TV shows for 300, Alex.
Okay. I'm going to give you a rundown of some of the TV shows coming out this year.
Wait. Time out. I got to help you out. What we're doing here is we're going to give you a rundown on TV and video games, and we're going to preemptively decide based on pure vibes. And if there's been a trailer or something, if we're going to prune these things, and then, and this is the fun part, you can listen along all year and find out if we were right. Which we definitely won't be.
That wasn't bad.
That's what we're doing,
That
right?
wasn't bad. That's exactly what we're doing.
Okay.
I'm going to get into it. I'll start with the TV shows.
Okay.
Let's talk about, we'll start off with some honorable mentions.
Okay.
Things that we could cover. We're not sure if we will have time to, and we certainly don't have enough of opinion yet to really dig into them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit you with Lanterns, big one that's coming out this year. Very ambitious show by DC.
I'm excited.
Bold choice. I'm excited. Let's look into it. Star Trek, Starfleet Academy.
I just don't care.
J-Mac don't give a shit. That's the universe, galaxies, space travel, all that shit. Very well in my purview. I'm excited for it. Did not grow up a super Star Trek fan. Got into it later in life. I was a Star Wars guy. So I'm excited to see where this goes. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. We are revisiting the Game of Thrones universe. And so far, the reviews seem to be really good. I'm excited for it. J-Mac shaking his head.
Nah.
He don't give a damn.
Nah. No.
And our final honorable mention, Wonder Man. It's already out. I banged it out. It's 4 hours. It's pretty damn good. I'm not going to get into a detailed review yet because J-Mac hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Do you want to? What are your thoughts?
I do want to see it. I feel like I wasn't always on board with this line of criticism, but they just haven't done any promotion for that show at all that I've seen. Like, there's been the occasional trailer on YouTube, I guess. Maybe it's because I live under a rock. I don't know. But I feel like nobody really advertised this at all. And here it is. And yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I haven't always agreed with that. But with this one, it really feels true that it has just been created and thrown to the wolves, and nary a thing has been said about it. And I find that very odd and confusing.
Yeah. Like I said, it's good. It's good. I would recommend watching it. Don't put too much weight in it. It's good. So let's get into the big three we want to talk about.
Okay.
And I will let you choose where we start.
The nightly news.
The
Is
nightly
that not
news
one of? Is that not on the list?
is not one of them. That's
okay.
preposterous.
My bad,
I haven't
my bad.
watched the nightly news
My
in
bad.
decades.
Okay. The only one I'm not super excited about is the final season of The Boys, and that's just because I'm not caught up.
Okay.
I have watched the first season. I really enjoyed it. I know I'm really far behind and I do want to catch up. I just have not made the time for it. So for me, the thing I'm most excited about, honestly, is Daredevil season 2. Now,
Hold on.
Yeah,
Nope,
what?
nope,
Huh?
nope, nope. We're going into the boys.
you want to go to the boys
I'm
first?
going into the
Okay,
boys.
okay.
You
Tell-
started
what do
with
I
the
need to know
boys.
about the boys?
So what I will say is like that was your preamble.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that everything you have to say about the boys?
Is it everything I have to say about the boys? Yes.
Is it? Are you gonna prune it, or is it making it on the sacred timeline?
No, I think the boys is, from what I've seen, deserves a spot on the sacred timeline.
Okay. I will hop in and fill in some of those gaps.
Okay,
The boys has been pretty fantastic.
Okay.
The reason we are not going to dive even deeper is I also am a bit behind. I'm not as far behind, but as you, I'm about half a season and one season of Gen V behind. But it's really good. They're doing a really good take on if superheroes were in our world, what would they actually be like? Because you'd get some screwed up superheroes. You'd get some superheroes dealing with mental health issues. You'd get some superheroes who are just dicks. Okay? And I think it's a really fun look into that world and a really fun reflection of our world through an absurd view of superheroes. Once you get caught up, you'll know that like the reflections of our world are a bit more overt in the later seasons, which also gets interesting. So no, we will not be pruning the boys. The boys is definitely gonna make it on the sacred timeline. They've done a really good job with that show.
I'd like to sideline about something about the boys real quick.
Go ahead.
I think we should start a podcast within a podcast that appeals to only about 12 people.
Okay.
And it is superhero related properties that also have actors in them that did appear in Letterkenny, the TV show, because The Boys is one of them. Huey's girlfriend who gets killed by the speed guy.
Yeah.
In the first episode, I don't even remember his name. That's how behind I am. In the first episode, she's in Letterkenny, and you're not going to believe I'm bringing this up again, but one of the actresses from Letterkenny does show up in Venom 3: Last Dance. And it's maybe the only thing that made me like that film even a little bit was that I got to go, hey, I know her from Letterkenny.
That's just because J-Mac has an unhealthy love of Letterkenny, which I will not judge.
I love Shoresy slightly more, but yes.
Because of my obsessive, compulsive rewatching of Brooklyn Nine-Nine and New Girl. Okay.
What about the vampire one?
What vampire one?
You're obsessed with that vampire show.
Supernatural?
No, that's not a vampire show. That's a show with vampires in it.
Fair. That's a fair distinction.
They like
you discussing.
I'm gonna get the title wrong,
Are you
but it's like
discussing the original?
the old ones.
The originals?
Yeah, the originals.
Which we will be debating since you decided to say that the originals would lose in a fight to Blade. Okay. We're gonna.
The moment you said Blade, I heard 90s techno playing in my head.
We're gonna get into that on one of our episodes in the future.
Okay.
Okay. So keep in it moving.
All right.
Since you want to dive deeper into Daredevil Born Again season 2, why don't we touch on?
You don't think I can dive deep into One Piece?
I have so many inappropriate questions based on this. You want to rethink the statement you just made?
Nope, I'm comfortable with it.
Okay. Let's get into One Piece. I am juiced for One Piece. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I will not be pruning One Piece. I will say this. I am a One Piece casual. I have watched none of the anime. J-Mac recommended the live action to me, and I loved it. I would gladly go back and start watching the anime if it were not dubbed. So that has been
What do you mean? You mean if it wasn't subtitled? What do you
subtitled? Sorry.
You don't want to read subtitles.
Yeah, I don't want to read the subtitles.
Philistine.
I know.
You
I
could
know.
just learn Japanese.
Look, I'm not saying I am taking the right approach here. I'm just letting you know where my stance is. Okay. It is the first anime in like 2 decades that I've been like, I'd watch this. And I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't.
So can we talk about that for a second? Because one thing you may not know, we talked about One Piece before, the live action One Piece show. The thing that rules about that show is that watching the anime is a daunting task because there's something like 1,100 episodes.
Yeah.
In season 1.
Yeah.
Do you know what they're doing now?
What?
They've ended season 1. They've ended season 1 with something like 1,100 episodes. And now what they're doing is they are treating One Piece as a seasonal anime. So it is going to come out in 13 episode seasons from here on out.
Oh, nice.
They're not starting over. They're picking it up where they left off at the end of season 1. But now, instead of being every week, which it pretty much has been for more than 20 years,
which is insanity,
they are going to do 13 episode seasons at a time.
Nice.
With a break between them, which is a little bit more manageable. The other thing that they're doing is they are reanimating One Piece.
Okay.
Starting from the beginning with a different studio. I don't remember offhand what studio it is, but it is a studio that is known for exceptionally good animation.
Nice.
And so what I'm trying to tell you is that
I could jump into this world.
There is an opportunity to watch the anime version of this that does not require an 1,100 episode commitment.
Okay.
Which is nice.
It is nice.
It's very, very nice.
I don't have 1,100 episodes worth of time.
No, that's so many episodes.
That's a lot of episodes.
Now, they're good.
They sound good.
They're very good. But the live action is exciting. The first season of live action One Piece covered about 50 episodes of the anime.
Which is insane.
In 8 episodes, 8 one-hour episodes. They're going to cover a lot of ground in this show. I know we're getting Smoker, who's a really great character. We're going to get Princess Vivi. I don't know if we're going to get into the Arabasta saga.
Okay.
Which takes place in a desert kingdom. So Luffy and the crew meet up with Princess Vivi. Turns out she's the princess of this kingdom, Alabaster, that has been taken over by the mischievous Crocodile. And his shadowy group of assassins,
obviously.
And so we're getting some of those characters, and they're all Mr. Number, and Ms. Day, So Mr. 3, Mr. 7,
and Miss Thursday,
Miss All Sunday, or whatever, right? And they all have their individual powers. So I know we're getting a lot of those characters. We're getting Smoker. Smoker by the way, is awesome. He's a Marine. And he's got smoke power. So he has bandoliers of cigars that he wears. He's constantly smoking 3 cigars at once. Because that's his superpower, right? And we're getting Tony Chopper this season. Which is awesome because he is a reindeer that ate the ningen fruit. Which means he's a reindeer that has become a human. So he's a cute little mascot character. But he can use his powers to manipulate which part of him is more human. So he has a jump point where he has more human legs so he can jump real high.
All right. I'm going to interject here for our fans who may not be familiar. What got me hooked on One Piece is exactly what J-Mac's talking you through right now. The characters are just really fun.
Yeah.
There's just a shit ton of fun, interesting characters. And some stay for a long time, some don't. But they all have these unique powers. They're all really curious. They're all really absurd. And the storytelling is just a really good time. It's really fun. Luffy is searching for the One Piece.
What is
it? And we don't know what the One Piece is. So I will let J-Mac give you the condensed version of the backstory that he gave me that got me into it, which is basically a rundown of what the search for the One Piece is and how each character comes about their unique ability.
Well, I think the most important thing to understand about One Piece is that it is a show about dreams. I think that is the most important core aspect. Some people may debate me, that's fine. To me, coming into One Piece, the thing that hooked it for me with the anime back in the day is that each character in the crew has a specific dream that they're trying to fulfill. So, for example, Luffy is trying to become the king of the pirates. What does that mean? What does that entail? We don't know exactly, but that's his goal. And that's what he's trying to achieve. Usopp wants to become a brave man of the sea. Zoro wants to become the world's greatest swordsman. Nami wants to make a map of the entire world as a cartographer. They all have their own motivations that have brought them together. And Luffy, as captain, is trying to fulfill his dream and help all of his nakama, or his close friends, his crewmates, achieve theirs as well. And what makes that really interesting is that when he fights an enemy, Luffy doesn't kill anyone. He proves that their ambition will not be realized. He spiritually gives them a death. And I think that is a really important distinction. But yes, most of these characters have some kind of superpower that they got because there are fruits in this world called the devil fruits, and they give you mysterious powers at the cost of being able to swim in the ocean. The ocean becomes your kryptonite.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal when your
Which is
entire
why
story
you
and
get-
world is based around pirates.
Exactly.
And sailing and all this stuff. So anyway, it's amazing. The first season is 8 hours and it's easy to binge. It's so good. And this new season looks great. The other thing I'll say about it is if you've ever watched a live action adaptation of an anime and thought, man, I wish they had a bigger budget. There's no budget bigger than One Piece got. Holy shit. I don't even remember how many millions per episode they were spending, but like they've built all these sets that look like they've been ripped straight out of the manga. It's incredible. The second season is sure to be amazing, and I know they're doing more seasons after that.
And just to tie a bow on this, the main character's name is, his full name is Monkey D. Luffy.
Yeah.
Which is absurd.
Monkey D. Luffy.
And lets you know everything you need to know about the show. If you're down with the guy named Monkey D. Luffy, you're going to love this show. I'm not pruning it. J-Mac, you keeping it on the timeline or are you pruning it?
No, it's not getting pruned.
All right.
Can I tell you that I have a statue? I have like a Luffy figure.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, and the other day I saw it. It's in two pieces. So like there's torso, upper body piece, and then lower body piece. And I don't know, the cat knocked it over or whatever. And I saw it knocked over in its knocked over state. And I actually said out loud to no one, Captain. And then picked him up and put him back. That's how much I love One Piece.
I love that for you. All right, and let's bring home our TV segment with one of the biggest shows in our purview that's going to drop this year, if not the biggest, Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Where you leaning? Are we pruning it? Are we keeping it?
We're keeping it.
It's ambitious. The trailer that's out has everybody's back. Like, not everybody. We're still not getting Iron Fist or Luke Cage, but we're getting Jessica Jones back. Foggy. Is our boy Foggy alive? Like, what's popping there?
Is it a flashback?
Is that a flashback?
We're getting a lot of Karen, I guess.
We're getting a lot of Karen. Kingpin, obviously back. Like, it. Interestingly enough, Punisher not present, but we know he's in this world. It looks to be
Bullseye also back.
Bullseye back.
The rumor is that Daredevil and Bullseye will do a team up in this season.
It looks like they are leaning even more into the dark, kind of hysterical cinematography, you know, blurring the lines of who's right and who's wrong. Politics clearly play a part. We've got Mayor Kingpin signs. It looks ambitious, is what I'll say.
So at the end of Daredevil season 1, or Daredevil Born Again season 1, Mayor Fisk had enacted martial law in New York.
Yep.
And also separated it from the outside world. And we leave Matt Murdock ready to assemble a group of essentially resistance fighters.
Yeah.
Right. So I assume that's where we will pick up with this season. I don't know, but
yeah, I was gonna say
stands to reason.
I think that's a bad assumption.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but like they're gonna have to square with that one way or the other. For me, the things that Born Again got wrong were just that there was one episode that was shoehorned in there that should not have been part of it. It's the episode with Kamala Khan's dad, which would have been a great Ms. Marvel episode, but is a terrible Daredevil Born Again episode. The other thing is they set up a lot of stuff for Vanessa that I feel like was never fully realized, and they have the chance to make good on some of that with this episode or with this season. There's also this thing with Matt's girlfriend from season 1 has now joined forces with Fisk as part of his, I don't know, his team in some way. We don't really know what's going on with that. So probably something will have to happen there. Matthew Lillard is in this season as someone. I'm not sure who he's playing, but like he's there, which is really interesting. There's so much stuff going on with this season, and I hope it reaches the level that it deserves. I am very into this show and this series, and I hold it to a high standard, and I think it can get there.
But you're nervous.
But I'm a little nervous. Jessica Jones coming back puts me at ease a little bit, though.
Yep. Here's what I'll say. The trailer is jam-packed.
Yeah.
And my concern comes from the fact that we've had jam-packed trailers before, And it has very clearly been Marvel trying to shoehorn way too much stuff into stuff. And so that gives me pause. I think they have a really strong grasp on this character, and I tend to give them the benefit of the doubt with this character in particular and the world built around this character. I have not watched Jessica Jones. It is one of the Netflix Marvel shows that I didn't watch, and now I'm like, all right, I've been avoiding this long enough. You got to commit. You just got to lock in and watch this. Because I am a completionist. Like, I like to have the entire story, so I do want...
You don't have to watch Iron Fist.
Her backs. You've mentioned that multiple
You don't have to watch Iron Fist, though.
You've mentioned that multiple
You don't have to do that. I did it. You don't have to do that.
Hope did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that.
You don't have to do that. Do you like David Tennant?
Yeah.
Is he like... Are you like a big David Tennant fan?
I wouldn't say I'm a big fan, but he's good.
Okay, but you've seen David Tennant and stuff, and like, you've enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's good.
You understand that he's like the best of us. Like, he's one of the best human beings on the planet. You understand that he was like Uncle Scrooge in the DuckTales remake, and...
I did not know all of those details.
Oh, okay. You know he was the 10th Doctor, though?
So we need to get into this because I don't do Doctor Who.
You don't do Doctor Who. Okay. What would be good for me...
Okay.
I don't know if you can make this happen. And if you can't, that's fine. But what would be good for me is if you could watch a season or two of David Tennant's run in Doctor Who.
Okay.
Just enough of it that you're like, oh, I like this guy.
Just to talk intelligently.
I love this guy. Actually, this guy is pretty good. If you could get to this state in watching Doctor Who with David Tennant, you don't have to watch the other seasons, but if you could watch enough of David Tennant's run in Doctor Who that you start feeling like, oh, I like this guy. And then watch the first season of Jessica Jones, I would love to watch you watch that first season of Jessica Jones. Because the thing that's so cool about it, I understand that I'm in the weeds here, but the thing that's so cool about it is that they took perhaps one of the most lovable men on the planet and turned him into one of the worst villains I've ever seen. He is so nefarious. Whatever you're thinking, 10 times worse, 12 times worse, a million times worse.
This is what I'm talking about. Like with the Netflix shows, they really let those shows stand alone, and they only interconnect with them with each other when necessary. And I feel like they're trying to recreate that with Daredevil, with the new seasons of Daredevil. And that gives me excitement. Like, I am excited about this show more than anything. Tonally, it is completely different from everything else we have in the MCU.
Yeah.
And I think they've done a really good job nailing that. I'm keeping it on the timeline. I'm not pruning.
You got to keep it. It's not getting pruned.
All right, let's get into some video games.
Okay.
Let's talk it. Ladies and gentlemen,
Video games.
this is J-Mac.
What are video games?
I'm going to let them cook. But I will be giving you a rundown of some honorable mentions, video games that are coming out this year. That we
I'll give you one word for each of them.
Exactly.
Give them to me. What do you got?
We got Lego Batman.
It's hype.
Onimusha.
Hype.
Marvel Tokon.
Super hype.
Scott Pilgrim.
Hype. I actually already ordered my copy.
And Star Wars Jedi 3.
Man.
That breaks my soul.
You know what sucked about the first one of those was all the backtracking you had to do?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I think they're competent games, but like, you got too much Tomb Raider in my Star Wars. Like, the thing that makes that game fun is doing cool Star Wars shit, not backtracking through the cool Star Wars shit that you do.
Yeah, you don't want to traverse the worlds. You want to complete things.
Yeah.
You want to do...
you
want to feel like the Jedi. Like, that is the most impressive...
I'm sure it'll be great. I'm sure it'll be a wonderful game.
Any Star Wars game is using lightsabers, using blasters, flying a TIE fighter, doing all the cool Star Wars shit.
You know what? It's just that I am not a big Dark Souls guy. And in a lot of ways, these games are Star Wars Dark Souls.
Interesting.
They've got a lot of the same mechanics. Like when you save, all of the enemies in the area respawn. That kind of thing. And it's just not really my jam.
Yeah.
It's with a few exceptions. But I find that with games, Dark Souls style games and roguelites, you have to be kind of exceptional for it to stick with me. So like, I don't really like roguelikes as a genre. But I love Hades.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't really love Dark Souls games as a genre, but I really enjoyed Sekiro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
so
get what you're saying.
it just doesn't always click.
It doesn't always hit, even though the intentions Yeah.
I recognize them as good. I recognize all those games as fucking phenomenal.
Just
But
not always for
but
you.
not personally for me. Yeah.
All right, now let's run through our primary hit list. And again, you can tell me, let's get in as deep as you want to go.
Okay,
You
okay.
can say we're pruning it, we're keeping it, or you can go in deep. So
Okay.
I'm going to start with a couple of the lower level ones that we talked about that I think you're going to maybe just either prune or keep. Resident Evil Requiem.
A keep. Absolutely keep. What's been interesting about Resident Evil is that it really gave popularity to the survival horror genre.
Yeah.
But over time, the series became less about horror and more about action until we got Resident Evil 6, which was essentially all action, and it was not a well-received game. What has happened since is that we've embarked on a soft reboot of the series with 7 and then Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil 7, I believe, is called Resident Evil Biohazard. Yeah, okay. So that's 7, and then 8 is Village, and now we're here at Requiem. 7 was straight up horror. You're back to being in a house. It's first person now. Village is also first person, a little bit more action oriented, was compared very favorably to Resident Evil 4, which was a really good blend of horror and campy horror and action. 9 looks like it's going to balance the scales by having one character that is more focused in that horror version of Resident Evil, and then they're bringing back Leon Kennedy, who's been around for Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, and is more in more action-oriented sections.
Yeah.
So you're getting both flavors in this game, and the trailers that I've seen look scary as fuck.
Okay.
And also amazing. I'm a longtime Resident Evil fan, so this is definitely a keep. No pruning Resident Evil on my watch, except for maybe 6. I'm looking at you, buddy. But yeah, no, Requiem looks like it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to play it. I think it's going to be great.
All right, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis.
Yeah, so that's the remake of the original Tomb Raider game, which I'm into. We're also getting a brand new open world, I think, Tomb Raider game this year. They both look pretty good. They both got announced fairly recently. The remake of the first game, I think, is a great idea. Recently, they have been making remastered ports of the first 6 games. And man, they're real hard to play. They're just real hard to play. I love Tomb Raider. I've been playing Tomb Raider since, the PS1. Fun fact, it was originally designed for the Sega Saturn.
That is a fun fact.
But whatever. They're just hard to play. They're real hard to play. They're classics for a reason, but they come from a time when we were still figuring out how to do 3D games really well.
Yeah.
And they really show their age, especially that first game. So getting a brand new take on that first game feels great, and I can't wait to play it. I hope it's new in all the ways that matter, but still gives me the vibes of playing the original. They're both getting kept.
All right. 007 First Light.
007 First Light has a lot going for it. One of the things it has going for it is that Lenny Kravitz is in it.
Okay, that is a bold choice.
Which is dope. I'm pretty sure he's the villain.
Really?
Yeah, and it's an early Bond adventure. So you got a younger Bond here, not James Bond Jr.
Okay.
If anybody remembers James Bond Jr., but young Bond. It looks like a good game. I'm really excited about it. It's one of those games that, like, I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but it's on the list.
It's high on the list?
It's pretty high on the list. I'm into the idea of a good 007 game. Actually, I'll just say here, if you go explore the back catalog, a lot of those old James Bond games hit real hard.
They're good.
Like Sin's GoldenEye, but there's James Bond games.
Yeah, no. GoldenEye is the obvious, but like,
but there's a lot.
You're like, this was also good.
Yeah. A lot of those old James Bond games hit pretty hard. So this one looks good. I think there's a lot of expectation on it. It's a big budget AAA game, so people are looking for it to be really great. I think this is one we're gonna have to wait and see.
Okay.
It's not an entry in an established franchise, which is good because we need new shit.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that, but I won't know for sure. My guess is we're keeping it.
Okay.
But we'll have to see.
All right, we're getting into the meat of this. These are probably the big 3. Let's start with Marvel 1943, Rise of Hydra.
So I really hope this game gets made.
Yeah.
Not to be a total bummer, but one of the stories that came out this week is that apparently last year, a third of the video game industry got laid off.
Jeez.
Which is significant. You'd hear stories all the time about development houses closing. And the thing that sucks is that it's not because they made a bad game. In a lot of cases, they made exceptional games and it wasn't enough. So we're in a bit of a tumultuous period in the video game industry, and that makes it possible for games like this to get thrown by the wayside. There's been a lot of hype for this game, but not a lot of regular hype, not a lot of regular news about it.
Yeah.
So I hope it comes out because it sounds like a cool story with Cap in an early time period, an older Black Panther. I hope this game gets made. Everything I've seen about it sounds awesome. I think there's a chance that it's getting pruned, but not by us.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, no, this is one of the ones that I actually do have some thoughts on. Everything I've heard about it, it sounds incredible. Specifically, just the storyline and approach that they're taking sounds really dope. And it sounds something very interesting. It sounds like a world we haven't explored a lot of, but that we know a lot about. I like the idea of digging into that in a game space. So yeah, tentative keep, assuming it comes out. Marvel Wolverine.
This game cannot show up fast enough. The thing that's cool about it is that the same studio that did the Spider-Man games for Sony, right?
Which everyone's obsessed with.
They're very, very good. However, Spider-Man doesn't fucking stab people to death.
Yeah.
And Wolverine does. And my first question when they actually release a trailer for this game is, are you going to
let people stab people?
Are you going to let me stab people to death as Wolverine? Because he's the best he is at what he does, and what he does isn't very nice. And yeah, it looks violent.
Yeah.
The thing I don't understand is what the structure of the game will be, because Spider-Man is an open world game.
Yeah.
You're swinging around, you're collecting missions, but you are exploring the world to get from place to place. I don't know part of the reason that works is because it's fun to swing around a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know if this game's going to be open world or not. I haven't been keeping tabs on it that closely. Maybe it's mission based. I don't really care.
I'm going to step in here. It has to be missions based.
It feels like it has to be.
You can't do it open world with Wolverine. You're right. Like the reason Spider-Man works is because
unless you can swing. Give him. Oh, you
like,
know what can make it work?
Do you give him a bike?
At the beginning of the game, you're in the X-Mansion, and he uses his claws, and he cuts off the roof of Cyclops' car and says, "Tell Cyclops I made him a convertible."
Like, yeah, like something like that works, but like you can't just have him running around an open world. It's got to be mission based.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. But maybe the benefit of that is you get to see him. It seems like he's going to be in multiple locations.
Yeah.
Right? Because also Spider-Man is pretty local to New York, right? But I'm pretty sure we're getting Logan in like Japan.
Yeah.
You know, like, which is a big part of his storyline. So I'm into that. Maybe Madripoor. I don't remember all the details, but I am pretty stoked about this game. And yeah, it's like a day one. We're keeping it.
All right. And finally, maybe the biggest release in like a decade, assuming it gets released.
It's definitely getting released.
GTA 6, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, are you ready for a hot take?
I'm ready for a hot take.
Okay, I just don't care.
Whoa.
I just don't.
Whoa, say more, because I've got thoughts. Like, I'm keeping it. This is a big deal. GTA was the defining game of a generation.
Yeah, actually, GTA 5 was the defining game of like 3 generations.
Yeah.
Which is kind of problematic. I love Rockstar. Rockstar is capable of making incredible games, and I would put Red Dead Redemption 1, not 2, on my list of like top games that I've played in my lifetime, for sure.
Wow.
And I do love a lot of the Grand Theft Auto series. I stopped after 4.
Yeah.
4 was bad. GTA 4 was bad.
GTA 4 was bad.
GTA 5, by all accounts, is the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm really happy for everyone who enjoys this game. The other thing I understand is that a big part of the lasting appeal and the reason that this game came out across, I don't know, 3 generations of Sony consoles, just as an example, is because of the online component, GTA Online.
Yeah.
And that's just so not my jam.
Yeah.
I might play it for the storyline because Rockstar tends to make games with really compelling storylines where you get to do a lot of fun stuff. Where Rockstar gets in its own way, and this is the hot take and the hill that I will die on. Congratulations, we now have 0 listeners. Is Rockstar occasionally forgets that they're making a video game. And instead make really exceptional Westerns.
Yep.
and really exceptional crime dramas.
Yeah.
And like, dude, I love watching Breaking Bad, but the same rules that apply to watching Breaking Bad do not play to experiencing the Breaking Bad experience.
Mm.
You know, you got to remember that it's okay to do things that are wild and done just for fun. Look at Grand Theft Auto 3 on the PlayStation 2. A part of the appeal of that game was all of the cheat codes.
Yeah.
I just want to summon a tank.
Yeah.
That's fucking fun.
Yeah.
So, like,
I miss sitting on a roof and just summoning multiple tanks.
right. Yeah. And that's video game shit.
Yeah.
You can't do that in a movie. You can't do that in a TV show. That's video game shit. And so in Red Dead Redemption 1, there's a zombie like side game called Undead Nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, getting horses in Red Dead Redemption is a big part of the game. In Undead Nightmare, you can get the 4 horses of the apocalypse. And one of them, when you run, leaves fire behind you. That's just cool video game shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, when Rockstar remembers to leave the cool video game shit in, just for the fun of it, they're so good, and I have so much fun playing their games. And when they're like, no, gritty Western, gritty crime drama, that's what we're up to. It's like, no.
I don't know, man. Like, here's the thing. I am not a gamer the way you are a gamer, but there has not been a game that collectively society has been this excited about in a very long time.
I think that's true.
And I understand it. I understand the hype, the overhype, if you will. But GTA's fun, man. I think you're right. If this isn't a game first and isn't fun first, that's problematic. But man, the world they've built in GTA, it provides you a lot of space to be fun. And
I understand, by the way, I understand that I am in the minority on this one, and that's totally fine. Like, I get it.
What's interesting to me is, as I am an adult, I am now like, how fun is it that like part of our outlet is just doing all the illegal shit you don't get to do in regular life in the video game? It's the same way I feel about listening to like heavy gangster rap as I go to my corporate job. Like, it is one of those things it's a weird juxtaposition that we collectively all have huddled around this outlet of just sheer violence, debauchery, and vandalism.
So the one thing I'll say about it, just to clarify, is I am sure it will be a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I am sure it will be an incredible game. I'm just not sure if it's the game that I want to play.
You're just not sure you're going to be spending a lot of time with it.
I think that my personal tastes are doing the illegal shit that you can't do in real life is fun, but it's not as fun as wielding a dildo bat. Now, that's like a real video game comparison. Let me explain. There's a whole series of games called Saints Row.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've played Saints Row.
No.
Saints Row owes a lot to GTA. Saints Row wouldn't exist without GTA. Straight up, right? It is a series built on all of the concepts that GTA pioneered. But what they did is they took the fun dial and turned it up all the way and did not care about telling a compelling story that much. That's probably the worst thing about those games, actually, is that the story is fine.
Yeah, it's very flimsy.
At best, actually, it's fine. But the gameplay and the stuff you can do in that game is so much fun that I don't care.
Yeah.
Now, some people hearing this are saying like, wait a minute, but the Saints Row reboot was really, really bad. It was, and I still played the whole thing. And that's my bad. But some of the previous games are really, really fun.
Yeah.
And there's so much stuff you can do in it. There's a Hulk, you get Hulk hands that you punch somebody and they explode, right? That's just pure unadulterated video game shit.
Yeah.
And like some people want the semi-grounded crime drama and just doing the illegal shit is fun. And that's fine.
Yeah.
And if that's how you get your jollies, by all means get your jollies. But I need a game where I can wield an apoca fist or a giant dildo bat to defeat my enemies.
That's fair.
And that's because I'm messed up, okay? So for me...
We will be talking about this in therapy.
Yeah. For me, I would rather play a game with a story that is not as good, with a lot more emphasis on fun these days, most of the time, than a grounded, gritty crime drama.
So are you keeping or are you pruning?
I'm not
GTA 6?
insane.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
keeping
Okay.
it.
I just had to be sure.
Keeping it.
I had to be sure.
I'm keeping
You
it.
never know.
It's just not as high on my day one playlist as some other games. That's
all right. So how are we feeling about the prospect of TV and video games in 2026? It sounds like we're very high on the video game releases. There was nothing you pruned in our primary reviews, the honorable mentions you could give or take, but the TV, you sounded a little bit more tenuous. We kept all of our primaries, but there were a fair amount of honorable mentions and things we didn't bring up even that you generally were a little wishy-washy. I'm really high on the TV that we're going to be getting this year.
Mhm.
I think we're in a good spot. Not a ton to be pruned. I do think there's some stuff that is going to fall flat. I also think there's high opportunity for some of the stuff we have high hopes for to fall flat. But generally, I'm really high, and the games that I will plug into, I think are going to be good.
Yeah, I think so too. By my very nature, I spend a lot of time playing older games.
Yeah.
But I am hyped about a lot of the games that are coming out this year. And some of them are sequels to long-running franchises. Like, we didn't really get into it, but Onimusha is the first new game in that series that's been released in, think the last one was Dawn of Dreams on the PS4 or PS2.
Okay, I was like, when I saw that, I was like, this
Onimusha was a
2004.
flagship Capcom series. There were 3 of them. There were 3 mainline games and then a 4th one, Dawn of Dreams. And there was also a kind of like Smash Brothers style fighting game
Yeah.
featuring Onimusha characters,
Yeah.
which was really, really fun. Not well received. One of those games has Gene Reno in it, aka the professional, aka that guy who sneezed in Mission Impossible 1 and almost ruined the whole thing, where Tom Cruise is like suspended above the thing. Anyway, yeah, Gene Reno is in one of those games. Like, actually, one of the coolest things that they did with that game that was really innovative at the time is all of the not all the characters. A lot of the characters are played by real actors, and they painstakingly recreated them as best they could in the graphics.
Oh, wow.
So it looks like you're playing as this like established actor, right? Which is pretty dope. So yeah, that series was great. Side note, they actually released at one point a Onimusha katana controller as like a special edition of the game.
Nice.
So like you're holding a goddamn katana and the buttons are on the like handle. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty dope. Yeah, but we haven't seen a new Onimusha game since the PS2.
Okay,
so the fact that we're getting one now
is a big deal.
Feels like a really big deal.
All right, so before I get us up out of here, then maybe a better question is, are you more excited about the movies we're going to get this year, the video games, or the TV shows? And like, if you had to rank like your excitement meter for content in 2026, what are you taking first?
That's so tough. Man, that's tough. It might be movies. Overall. We didn't talk about it, but there's a new Gundam movie that is coming to theaters this year.
Theoretically.
No, it's not. Well, there's the Netflix show, which I think is theoretical. There's an actual for real movie that is already out in Japan that is going to get released here.
Okay.
It's the second in a series of films called Hathaway's Flash.
Okay.
And I'm super mega fucking hyped for that film because I do love Gundam, and because actually I think the first Hathaway's Flash film is the most sophisticated and best animated we've seen Gundam in possibly the entire run of the franchise.
Okay.
I really love that movie.
Okay.
And we're getting a follow-up that sounds like it's going to be even better, and it seems like Bandai Namco is trying to take more of an international angle with that. For example, SZA is on the soundtrack. She does the opening song, I believe, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I'm mega hyped for that movie, and that may be enough to push me over the edge. It's hard to compete with Resident Evil, but Gundam is my first truest love.
So what are you taking number 2? You're going movies, then are you going...
Probably movies, video games.
Video games, then TV shows last?
Yeah. What about you?
I'm going to go movies, TV shows, video games, but I'm not a gamer head like that. What I will say is I can acknowledge that this is a huge year in games, like just looking at the list that's coming out. there's going to be a lot of really impactful games that appeal to a lot of audiences. So I think that's a really big deal. Like, I think the gaming space is in a good place right now.
In terms of stuff that's coming out and stuff that will be new that we can play, I think that's probably true. Although I'm going to take just a second to say that I have no idea what new games Nintendo's releasing in the near future in 2026. It seems like the plan for the immediate future is to do a lot of Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games. Like, we just got the new edition of Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Right, but it's not a new Animal Crossing. Switch 2 edition with a few additions, which is fine, right? But, like, it's not fine forever.
Yeah.
And I would really be more hyped about video games if I knew what Nintendo's plans for the rest of 2026 actually are.
And on that note, that has been the Entertainment Variance Authority preview of 2026's release of TV shows and video games. Thank you for kicking it with us. We had a good time, and we hope you did too. In the meantime, in between time, check out Life Begins at 8-Bit with J-Mac and Danielle. Shout out to They Call Him Swerve for our intro and outro music. Like, follow, subscribe, and give us 5 stars. We will see you on the next one. Stay dope.
I'd take 4.
We will not take 4 stars. 5 stars. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Entertainment Variance Authority. Listen to additional episodes wherever you get your podcasts and keep an ear out for future episodes.